What's going on in here?
Nothing.
Looks like you guys are having some kind of a party. Yeah, well, I like to party too.
You do? Really?
But I don't party like you guys.
How do you party?
I party like this here.
Show us.
You know what this is? This is the Overdose.
It is May 21st, 2015. This is the Overdose here on a beautiful Thursday evening. It's just me and Andrea tonight.
And it is beautiful.
Isn't
Here?
it?
It's beautiful.
You gotta have more to add than that. I gave you the fresh, the fucking clean slate. I gave you the whole lane there. You just stopped your car right in the middle so that no one.
I wasn't prepared to talk about the beauty of things. Am I here? I'm having trouble hearing myself.
Well, turn up your headphones then.
They're up all the way.
All right, well, that's the best we can do. Sorry.
Good enough for me.
Your car is a piece of shit.
Oh my god, we just went to the gas station. My car is terrible. I finally made the decision to sell it. I'm just having trouble letting go because I'm very sentimental. It's the first and only car I've ever owned.
It's the worst car I've ever been in before. There's not one single function of it that doesn't cause some other part of the car to fucking rumble and sound, and sound like it's about to die.
Nothing works fully either. Everything is a little broken.
It's a real piece of junk.
Even, let's see, my tape deck doesn't work. The radio works. The tape deck does not work. One of my windows won't roll down. There's a crack in the windshield, but it's so low and off to the side that you usually can't even notice it, but it's there. My left turn signal won't turn off. Right one works fine. Yeah. And it's scary. The brakes don't work. It's scary to drive.
We were just in it, and it shakes quite a bit when you're coming to a stop.
The rotors are warped.
Yeah.
This has happened before on this car. My tire exploded not too long ago, just one of them.
The brakes don't work at all. It takes a good 75 yards to stop. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, I was initially going to tell you to just drive yourself, and then I was like, this car takes some finesse. I don't know if that's safe.
No, yeah, it's one of those cars that you get in when someone else is driving, someone else's car, you get in and you're like, how the fuck do you operate this thing? Are you kidding me? You're only able to do it because it went gradually,
Right.
So it was just one piece by piece. You just really got used to keeping it going,
Yeah.
But no, when anyone else gets in that car, it's, you have a special skill set at this point.
Right. That's okay, though. I paid $700 for it like 5 years ago, maybe.
That's what people like us do with cars. I was just talking about that the other day. Somebody's like, are you going to get your, your suspension and your shocks fixed? I'm like, no. It's fucking...
Fixed?
Fucking no, yeah, right. I mean, because here's the deal. You can do one of two things, and I swear to God, I don't care what anybody says. You can buy a new car, or you can buy a used car and not give a shit about it. Because if you buy a used car and also give a shit about it, you really are just asking for problems. There's no used car that I've ever had that was worth fixing when it broke.
Well, I have I've put a little bit of money
you buy a
into
car
this.
for fucking $2,000. All right.
Right.
Everything that needs to happen to it ever is going to cost a minimum of $700-800.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a third of your way to your next car. Why are you fucking around? Just milk the thing. Get one of your friends to solder something on there, whatever you need to do. Just milk the thing for that next 6 months while it just becomes like yours. Every car I've ever had eventually ends up like yours. It's just ridiculous for a while, and one day it just gets left wherever the final, wherever the scene of the crime happens, wherever it just completely fucking falls apart. It just gets left there, and then the police call, and they're like, you can't just leave your car, and you're like, well, I did it. Like, yeah, we know. We towed it to an impound. And you're going to have to come pay to pick it up. Like, I don't want to pick it up. You can fucking...
Why do you think I left
You
it?
can have it. And then no one ever calls again. Because I think the guy wants to sell it for parts and junk anyways, wherever they tow it. And he's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll take it.
I'm so sentimental, though. I don't know. I love and appreciate my car. And it's so old. It's a 95. It's 20 years old. But it's so old that, like, I feel guilty that I'm the one that killed it.
Yeah, well,
I don't want to be its last owner, but also I do want to be its last owner.
yeah, just
it's weird.
drive that baby into the sunset. Just leave it on the side of the highway somewhere and just take the plates off and just don't return phone calls. That's what I do.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that anyway. Not returning phone calls. Can't tell you how many debt collectors I'm avoiding.
And then what? Because what are you going to do? You're going to go spend $2,000 fixing it up, or just get the same car again?
Oh, and it'll
know,
be
who
way
cares?
more than $2,000 to fix that.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. You can't fix a used car.
No, it's over. That's okay.
So what's going on with the bikers?
Bikers, they are okay. So the Waco shootout.
I want to do some talking about this. I wish Matt Gear was here. He's going to be in later. David Box is supposed to be in too. I was kind of hoping to talk to both of them about it because everybody's bringing up the fact that nobody is treating this situation like they treat something like the Baltimore riots,
Right.
Which I don't know if it's really fair to compare. You know, I mean, Baltimore
Yeah.
wasn't a bunch of organized crime syndicates clashing.
Right.
You know, it was a true
citizens standing up for what they felt was a righteous
so,
cause.
people are saying, why was everyone calling the people in Baltimore thugs and gang members and blah 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 or whatever, and you don't see any of the same like memes coming up with, hey, why did what's with all these thugs that had the shooting, and why are these thugs destroying their own city and stuff? I just don't see the comparison. Really, I don't
Right.
know. What do you think?
No, I don't either.
But that's been really common going around. A
Yeah.
lot of people are jumping on that one.
Well, and this never seemed like a riot to me.
It's not.
Until
it's a
people
specific shootout.
right.
With the details are getting weirder
And
about.
also it was contained in one establishment and parking lot. It's not like it's spread out across the city.
Yeah. So whatever. I mean, I
Whatever.
think it seems pushing the issue when people go, hey, there, because Matt Gear sent me a text. Let me pull. You know, I didn't even need to pull it up. I know what it said. It said, "Have you noticed the media is not referring to these biker gang members as thugs?" Do you think that means anything? Is the thug thing really a fucking an issue now?
They are referring to them as a gang, which they don't label themselves as.
Yeah, but
They're a
but
club.
everybody
They're
was
a
all
motorcycle club.
Everybody was all trying to do the thing of hey, thugs is the new N-word. You know,
Yeah.
that's just the word they're switching to now for you
Yeah,
know.
I remember we talked about that.
Yeah, so what do you think?
Yeah, I guess it kind of lends evidence to that. It just seems, with the whole way it's being covered, just seems weird. First of all, remember when the police chief said that it was, or the police sergeant said it was the most violent scene he'd seen in 34 years?
Yeah, and then I saw somebody else point. I know what you're going to go for because I saw somebody else point that out too. He must have been.
I didn't realize he'd been on the force that long. But
Yeah, he must have
had to
been
have been
off
there at the
for-
Waco standoff.
Yeah.
I mean that was children were murdered. I guess it didn't
he had
count.
the day off.
Yeah, he wasn't there yet. He got there later. It was just a fire.
So yeah, I mean, basically, I guess because that's state imposed violence on a group of people that didn't count, or what it.
Yeah.
And how many people were killed in Waco?
I think it was 30 something here. I'll
Yeah,
double
yeah.
check. It was a lot, but the weird thing is that it included children too. Now, well, back to the bikers though. I don't know if the thug thing really has to do with race. Now, I don't know why, but I assumed that this was mostly Hispanics. Something about the name Bandidos and it being in Texas made me think that this was Mexican gangbangers.
I think there are a lot of Mexicans in those gangs,
But now since it's
or
been
Hispanics or whoever.
But since it's been more widely reported, and they're getting more information on the people who were involved, it turns out that pretty much everybody was white.
Okay. And it's also coming out that nobody really saw a lot of bikers doing any shooting.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
So that's been coming out from eyewitnesses, I guess, are saying, hey, it was the police doing all the shooting from the outside in. And they were set up
police-
with weapons and shit. And people are saying there was snipers, which sounds a little far-fetched to me.
Well, here are the weird details about that. The police had surveillance footage, 9 camera angles of the restaurant, none of which pointed at the parking lot. So there was no surveillance of the initial altercation that escalated. In the footage, now they showed it to like a couple of press people, but they didn't.
Yeah, it's another one of
release
these
it.
weird cases where it's like we trust so and so and so and so, and they're gonna tell you what's on there. So
Yeah.
just
So none of us have been able to see the footage.
Right.
None of which pointed at the parking lot, and also in the footage you can see like dozens and dozens and dozens of bikers all over the place everywhere, and you can only see one biker firing a gun. Everyone else is just running away, ducking and covering. It said that people were like guiding people to safety and like, you know, saying come over here, you know, make way, stuff like that. So eyewitnesses now are coming forward and saying that they only saw one person from the biker gangs fire a gun,
Okay.
and that instantly the police on the scene began firing their guns into the crowd. As soon as the first gunshot happened, the police pulled out all their guns and just started firing at people. So of the 9 dead and 18 wounded,
and then they arrested almost 200 of them.
177 people were arrested.
Yeah. So of the 9 dead, what were you about to say?
I was going to say of the 9 dead and 18 wounded, there's a very good chance that a large percentage of that was caused by police bullets and not by biker bullets. They haven't released how many guns they've found specifically,
But it
but
was
they
over
have
300,
recovered
right?
over 300 weapons.
Jesus Christ.
They were stashed in bags of flour, bags of potato chips. There was a gun they found inside of a toilet.
Yep.
I mean,
Just
people
everybody
were
just fucking running around ditching their weapons.
And all 177 people who were arrested are charged with felony engaging in organized crime activity, and every single person's bond is set at $1 million.
Jesus fucking Christ. They are not fucking around here.
They are not fucking around. That's 177 people.
So what we've got is if it was really just a thing that got out of hand between biker gangs, but that's what I said from the beginning. That's so out of character. They never do shit like that. These are all people who are there to make money. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of these things were they were bar brawling and shit and whatever back in the day. I don't really think it's like that anymore. I think shit is a lot more business oriented these days, and it just seems so fucking weird
I
that
think
would
you're right
happen.
about that
And they
too.
because don't they generally have? I'm sure like the gangs that are making a lot of money have a general agreement with law enforcement, which is stay the fuck out of the newspapers. Don't make us fucking come after you. Let's keep this, you know, because obviously there's a lot of people in law enforcement getting paid off, you know, by major drug gangs. I don't think that's going to blow anyone's mind. So, you know what I mean? But if you take that one step further, you know the conversations exist, which are hey, you know, you guys are going to need to hold up your end of the bargain. Don't be shooting up fucking titty bars and shit and whatever they're at, you know what I mean? And don't be getting yourself in the fucking news every night, and we'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people now have come, like, victims' families. The one guy in particular was a war veteran, and his family came forward, and they were like, there's no way that he was instigating violence. One of the guys who died, actually. They were like, he was very peaceful.
But these aren't motorcycle clubs. These are fucking actual shit, right? I mean, these are these are like
but this
involved
was,
in drug kind of gangs, aren't they? You know?
Yeah. The Bandidos especially are hugely notorious for drug trafficking.
The Bandidos are huge. Yeah, we've seen about them before. The Cossacks, I've never really fucking heard of. I don't think.
No, they seem to only be there to rival the Bandidos.
Okay. They're just some crazy outsider.
Yeah, and they don't. When we kind of talked about them before too, I couldn't find them. I couldn't find them on the internet. They're not listed as like the top 50 outlaw gangs in the country.
Oh, okay.
The only stuff I found about them were news stories regarding them with the Bandidos. They didn't exist outside of their rivalry with the Bandidos.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, of the 177, almost all of them were either Cossacks or Bandidos that were arrested. But it was a big meetup. There were people from all age ranges, all probably in varying degrees of involved with their motorcycle clubs. You know, like maybe this old guy was there for the meetup and didn't know anything was going on, and then he got shot and died. You know, that's what people are saying. Like not everybody could have known this was going to happen. And
well, of course not. Yeah, in any case. But I mean, I don't know. It just seems like I was saying from the beginning, and I'm not some expert, but it just seems like just a weird thing that you don't usually hear about. Just
Well,
you know.
what if I told you that it was the FBI.
Yeah, I saw that article. LouRockwell.com had an article out. And Lou Rockwell is a guy who has appeared on a billion fucking talk shows and shit. He's, a anti-state, anti-media type of dude. So he, anti-war,
Yeah.
law enforcement in general and shit. What was in the article? Basically, they were talking about that PatCon thing.
PatCon.
So this is a tie-in. I guess, they're just trying to establish that, hey, this wouldn't be the first time that the FBI was at the center of trying to instigate violence between biker gangs. I guess they had a whole operation to do it.
They've been doing it for decades.
I mean, and if you've been paying close enough attention, we all know that the government, various agencies within the government do take part in like COINTEL, ops, what do you call agent provocateur, all the stuff in protests like we've talked about, all the way to selling arms to the right people and instigating tensions between certain groups and trying to get violence to pop off. Because as we always come back to, any government agency will work hardest at trying to justify its own existence.
Right.
So and expand itself, and get more funding at its simplest form and get more, reach into your personal liberties at its most complicated.
Yeah, and then funnel everything up. Yeah. So PatCon, according to, John Matthews, as part of an official court testimony, blew the whistle on PatCon. He's dying of...
And he was in the FBI.
He was an FBI agent after serving in Vietnam as a 3rd Marine.
Okay.
And now he says that he's dying due to exposure to chemicals in Vietnam. So he's just like, fuck these guys. I'm going to tell everybody everything. He claims that PatCon, officially, according to the FBI, PatCon exists to infiltrate groups like the Ku Klux Klan or other neo-Nazi groups in order to
is just
monitor
the name.
them.
Is the name of it stands for Patriot Conspiracy.
Right.
But it's is that specifically the name of an operation or what?
It's a operation, FBI operation known as PatCon. It's probably a nickname.
Okay.
It may not be the official name, but it is a thing that officially exists. So anyway, the FBI told him that it was to infiltrate and monitor Ku Klux Klan and neo-Nazi groups. But based on his experience and doing work with the group, he is now able to reveal that they are actually there to infiltrate and incite fringe groups to violence. He worked on an operation designed to promote an extremist group to carry out a plan to damage a cooling system of a nuclear power plant in Alabama. And also, automatic weapons were being sold to right-wing extremists during the 90s.
Yeah.
And those weapons were coming from the Lone Wolf gun store in Arizona.
Which is the same gun store implicated in the Fast and Furious scandal of late.
Yes.
So
precisely.
There's the tie-in. Makes it, obviously that's nothing concrete, but it does definitely pique my interest when you've got the history and the culture there, and especially with what's gone down in Waco before. Mm-hmm. It's, to me, it's pretty easy to, I don't know, not easy to believe, but I guess
it's not a far leap.
It's not a far leap to think that the FBI in that area would be involved in instigating violence. And didn't this all somehow come out of the Oklahoma City trials or something?
Yeah, this testimony was part of a hearing based on, what's his name? Jesse Trentadue is trying to obtain surveillance footage leading up to the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah, a lot of people, including myself, believe there was a deeper conspiracy there for sure.
Yeah. And that's something I think we're going to come back to in the future because that's something that's always intrigued me. And there's some weird stuff going on. But this testimony about PatCon was part of a hearing from 2014 regarding obtaining the Oklahoma City bombing footage or the surveillance footage leading up to the bombing.
Okay, yeah.
So this guy... I don't know exactly what connection he had to the bombing in itself, but this was part of his testimony for that.
So he just wanted to get it on the record. I guess it didn't really have to do, but it was probably some of the same players.
He also alleges that he knew, based on his work with the FBI, he knew that Timothy McVeigh was in contact with some German. You know what? I don't know this well enough to explain it. I don't think he was there talking about the FBI's monitoring of Timothy McVeigh before the bombing occurred. So he was on the radar.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then he was also talking about.
So
Pat
he was
Conn
and that was still while he was in the FBI.
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So this testimony is from last year, September of 2014. So this is still going on right now.
The Lone Wolf Gun Store, huh?
There it is. The Lone Wolf Gun Store. Selling all their guns. Those people are probably so rich.
And how do they stay in business? I mean, like, how does it... this shit just blows my mind.
Oh, me too.
I mean, because they were basically... What was their role in the Fast and Furious thing? Do you know?
As far as I know, they supplied the guns.
And
they're the gun store that got the
somehow
guns.
probably did it, under the table and whatever, or I don't know.
We'll have to look into it. I don't know the
I
whole
have no
story
idea.
well enough. I just know it's fucked up. So, well, the good news is that Obama is finally looking out for the police.
Oh yeah, this fucking thing. Did you send me this article?
It's in the. I'll send it to you.
All right, yeah, send it to me real quick. But what's going on?
He just signed a bill into law called the Blue Alert.
Oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna have it already. Or no, go ahead, send it to me. Sorry.
Okay. It's called the Blue Alert Law, and it's similar to an Amber Alert. However, instead of alerting people to a missing child, it alerts them to a person who has harmed or expressed intent to harm a police officer.
Uh-oh. That's
So-
bad news for us.
Bad news for most people we know, probably. But it's supposed to be a really aggressive, really thorough way of not losing track of, if somebody shoots a police officer and runs off, this will have every person ever looking for them. I don't know about you, but when there's an Amber Alert in our area, I get an alert on my phone. It's not just like a text or anything. It's like
Right.
a window you can't get rid of.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah.
So I have a feeling this is going to evolve into a very similar thing. Now,
Oh God, we're just going down all the wrong roads. I mean, there's a couple things wrong with it. If you wanted to introduce this idea, then that should be a thing that's in place for everyone who gets killed,
Yeah.
not just cops. If somebody shoots somebody in the face and you're really all about justice and this and that, then do the thing for everybody, make it so that for everybody who gets killed. But furthermore, it really isn't right anyways, because once it becomes a normal part of your life that you get these alerts and everybody looks out for the guy and nobody questions it anymore, 5-10 years down the road, imagine how often this is going to be used against political dissidents, just people that they want to fucking get rid of. And it's very easy to manufacture one police call to the police, one police report, one dead cop is nothing to the establishment. This just makes it way too fucking easy. Just, you know what I mean? It's one step down the road, just to further down the road of just clamping down on everything. And
Right.
you could say, oh, if you don't kill a cop, then you got nothing to worry about. Well, I don't believe that.
No.
I think that it will be misused.
yeah. Just like when people say, well, if you're not doing anything illegal, you don't have anything to worry about.
Right. It's not about that. It's about giving them the power to abuse in the first
also,
place.
that's not true. So,
That's what I mean. Yeah.
yeah. Also, this seems to solidify the fact that officers' lives are viewed as more valuable than the average citizen. That's a very clear message that I'm getting from this, and I think that's a shitty thing to send to citizens. Don't you?
Yeah, that's what I already said.
It's Obama called the bill the best of a bipartisan support for law enforcement, and it was so uncontroversial that it passed both the House and Senate by a voice vote. So everyone agreed on it so readily that they didn't even
It's our representation right there.
Yeah.
That's most, because you know how most people support the police these days.
Yeah.
Most people are real into what's
They
going on
love
in law
them.
enforcement. Dude, this is good. I mean, I actually sort of like to see stuff like this because this should make it even more apparent to you idiots that are still holding on to this system working for you in some way, to that idea. You still think that this government is going to somehow get turned around by your earnest voting and responsible consumer practices, and you think just look, just feast your eyes on what's happening here. You know what I mean? Like, there's still a couple of you fucking retards that are not picking up on the fact that the government has become a separate entity and has run away with itself. So, I mean, figure it out.
Voting can fix this.
Yeah, no, this is
We
out
just
of
have
our
to vote so aggressively.
This is out of our hands. This is out of our hands. And believe me, there are a lot of people out there who support the police, I think, you know, but I don't think there are a lot of people that would agree with this kind of shit.
No, I don't think so either. I think there are a lot of people who would find ways to justify it.
Yeah.
But again, why? I mean, if they're going to do this, then why shouldn't it just be any threat of violence against a human being or murder of another human being gets you this murder alert?
Several weeks ago,
press conference.
we lost two of New York's finest. Rafael Ramos
Shut up.
and Wenjin Liu. They were serving their community with great honor and dedication and courage. And all of New York grieved and all of the nation grieved. It was a reminder of the incredibly difficult.
Stop this. I would say 30% of New York grieved.
Yeah.
Probably about the same nationwide.
Yeah.
A lot of people, believe me,
People who were police officers.
if you took a look,
grieved.
yeah, or their families or their friends.
Yeah.
Everybody who thinks cops are cool because they know a cop who's cool to them. If you looked at social networking after that happened, was that the dude that hey, what's in your waistband? And
Yeah.
he said, hey, I'll check it out. It's one of these.
Yeah.
Which is a good reason not to stop a grown man and fucking ask him what's in his waistband.
Right.
You know, hey, I hate it when they fucking get all boo-hoo about this shit. You're the one that wants to be the fucking cowboy out there stopping people with the threat of violence yourself.
Yeah.
You want to play the goddamn game, you know?
Yeah, he was walking down the street.
He was walking down the street, would have walked right past you, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he didn't feel like dealing with your fucking shit. So there you go. They want to play the fucking, you know, the tough guy game. They want to be cowboys, and then they want to fucking cry every time the, you know, the reasonable expected thing happens, which is somebody fucking fights back. Hey guys,
Yeah.
come on in,
Hi.
sit down. A couple
have
of folk just walked in.
Guests coming into the studio.
Deebs, what's up?
Hey, yo.
Deebs.
Call 'em Deebs.
Deebs. And
We're looking at-
Welcome to the show.
We're looking at this this law. What is it, Andrea? It's called
It's called the Blue Alert.
The Blue Alert. It's
Similar
like
to an Amber Alert or a Silver Alert, but it will alert people as to when somebody has committed a violent act against a police officer or threatened to commit a violent act against a police officer.
So
and it's
it's-
a law. They just signed that into a law. Obama signed it into a law.
A blue alert it's just one. So what happens when there's a blue alert?
well, it's like when you get an Amber Alert on your phone,
And you're like, look out
and they're
for
like,
this.
Hey, some tasty little morsel has gone missing.
Nice.
They're like, hey, look out for this this hot little kid.
Yeah.
It's the same as that.
Finders
that-
keepers.
It's the same as that kind of notification, you know. So now it's like, oh, but what did it even? It had the wording in there that left the door open for people who threaten violence against police.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even have to really be any real crime yet. Depending on how they interpret it, I guess. But
Here, a notification system relating to assault on police officers, officers who are missing in the line of duty, and credible threats against law enforcement.
Oh, I wish it was just like when a cop died, so that it could be like, bing, 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 go! And
I was
everyone's
hoping you would go way longer with that.
Oh, I can if you want me to.
Nah,
I just didn't.
the
I
moments-
didn't. I didn't want to
moments
ruin it. Oh, that sucks.
So,
Damn.
you know, it would be better as a drinking game. I agree. You know, just
Yeah.
like, ding. All right, everybody take a shot.
Yeah.
But I guess what we're talking about is, you know, the furthering gap between real fucking people and the upper levels of government and how it's just kind of run away with itself. They're no longer representing us. You know that whole thing.
You know, that whole thing.
Yeah, you know.
Difficult and dangerous work that so many of our law enforcement officers are engaged in every single day. I had a chance to meet the families of officers Ramos and Lou at the memorial that we did just a few days ago. But it's important for us not only to honor their memory, it's also important for us to make sure that we do everything we can to help ensure the safety of our police officers when they're in the line of duty. And this legislation, which has been sponsored on a bipartisan basis by people like Senators Cardin and Representatives Reichert and Pascrell, represent, I think, the best of a bipartisan support for law enforcement. What this legislation is going to do is to initiate a blue alert system so that when we know there's an active threat against law enforcement, that the alerts are going out at a comprehensive, expeditious way. That prevents the possibility that other officers may be caught by surprise.
You piece of shit.
Dude, journalists need to switch to mirrorless cameras so that your fucking shutters aren't fucking everything up for everybody.
Yeah, I know.
No,
Yeah.
Fuck.
this is creepy. Okay, so people who are not watching the video, I did share it on the Facebook, but
Look at all the dead, lifeless people. Like all those fucking people, they just look so awful.
yeah, and what are they doing there?
And what are these photographers taking so many pictures of? The same thing? He's
Seriously.
not playing tennis or anything. He's
It's
sitting there talking.
It's not tap
so
dancing.
theatrical.
What the fuck?
It's so creepy and so theatrical. Like, why? Why are they standing there? They're seriously just a crowd. What is it, like 8 people standing behind him, completely motionless, all blank looks on their faces?
So many fucking cameras.
What are they
just
doing there?
Clicking away. That's the only. Sorry, that's the only thing I'm mad about.
No, I know. That was really fucking annoying. Wait, listen to that
No,
again.
but
And
yeah, but
it
at the same
ensures
time,
that appropriate steps can be taken as quickly as possible.
I mean, really? You have actual fucking big cameras with film in them out there? What the fuck is
no,
going
no,
on?
no.
Idiots.
It's not film. It's
not.
But digital.
Oh, they're just using-
DSLRs still have a shutter in them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Duh.
Okay, sorry. Jesus. That is fucking annoying.
Yeah, that was terrible.
But
Look,
yeah,
there's like one person of every ethnicity around him too. It's like it's
Yeah.
so transparent. What
there's
they do.
not
Like,
even people
Yeah.
taking pictures there. They just have a track of cameras clicking away, playing in the back, just to hype. This is a real big deal.
Look
Yeah,
how
yeah.
important
We
this is.
can't take enough pictures of this guy sitting here talking.
No other way people are taking pictures.
So this is the ramping up of the coming war with law enforcement. Is it just going to get worse and worse until we're literally just at war with our own fucking, it's just the country just splits into I mean, because it's going to get more and more violent, don't you think, or what?
Yeah, I do. I've kind of felt it going that way for a long time. I think this is just one more thing.
I heard that Barack O'Boner was doing something to stop local police officers from buying military.
Yeah, he
style.
did. He signed a law that restricts how much military equipment smaller police
But like
functioners can get.
a lot of
It's just
places,
doesn't-
it's two
if you
steps
already
forward, one
have the
step
tank,
back.
though,
Yeah.
but like they've already got the tank. They like a lot
Yeah.
of them have already got the equipment, and now it's just a maintaining
We'll put this
thing.
law in that expires in 4 years or whatever, and
And then you'll get
by
the
the time
laser
you need,
beams.
by the time, right.
Yeah.
By the time you guys are supposed to get your jetpacks and fucking and laser guns, you'll be all good.
Oh, it'll be
Yeah.
like Christmas, dude. They'll be high-fiving each other and sticking their fingers in each other's butts and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It'll be so good.
Police.
So what else on that? Is that it?
That's all I've got. It's so creepy. That video is so creepy. I hate that.
Oh yeah, I was listening to some stupid I don't know. I was trying to remember the guy's name. Some guy on AM radio, and I think it was like it was the conservative station. It was 560, It was and I don't know, like I've talked about on the show before, I really don't know which I hate worse. Like I just flip back and forth between the left wing and the right wing stations, and just get madder and madder and madder. It's just a bunch of fucking whiny children saying nothing. It's just awful. And whoever this fucking idiot was today, I didn't realize that the mainstream talk media and stuff, it seems like, was turning the growing anti-police movement into like a left-right issue. And it seemed like it was assumed on this show that right-wing people were for the police and left-wing people were against the police. I fucking honestly had no idea that that's the way that it was being treated. Did you?
No, me neither. No, I always thought it was police versus black people.
Well, they're going to divide it any way they can.
Yeah.
But
no, I've never heard that one before, though.
being on a lot of like social networking that I'm on and stuff, you would see like the people who would get called like conspiracy nuts, or like a lot of the libertarians or things like that, who would be called right wing most of the time, are very fucking anti-police. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that just kind of just really I didn't know even what to think while I was listening to it. I'm like, this is a discussion for 3-year-olds. This is just so far removed from reality. It just made no fucking sense to me. Does that make any sense to you? Or
It seems, yeah, I don't know.
and the call,
It just seems like another way to simplify the thing and divide people, and
yeah,
everything is a left-right issue. Black people itself is a left-right issue. When mainstream media, when you hear
you
conservative,
go left or right to try to get around them when they're coming towards you. You know what I mean?
Whoa,
Left or right side of the street.
But this is something we've talked about on the show before, too, where extreme right-wingers don't necessarily identify with those of the mainstream right-wing ideas,
Right.
too. And I've always kind of thought that extreme right-wingers seem more liberal than a lot of left-wing people. You know what I'm saying? There's like
definitely,
a push to get all the way to the right side, and you go through a lot of shit that doesn't make any sense and is there to argue.
But a lot of people who are called right-wing extremists are the people who truly just want to be fucking left alone, and that's it. And I don't want the government to do anything, and you can do whatever you want and just leave me alone. And that's like about as liberal as you could possibly be. Just fucking. Just leave me alone. That's all I want. You literally can do whatever you want unless it directly harms me. That's it.
Yeah.
That's as liberal as you can be.
Exactly. So it's
And you're right. That's like the cracker in the hills, like totally right wing thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a classic weird paradigm of American politics, I guess.
And I have such a hard time imagining the argument of left against police versus right for police. I keep getting it mixed up in my head because it doesn't make any sense to put it that way.
The callers on this show all were going with that narrative. Everybody was assuming this is all those libtards and their fucking their anti-police stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
You guys don't say libtards at your house?
No,
Is that,
not
is that a
libtards.
thing?
That's an actual thing people say. Yeah.
Libtards.
Yeah, libtards. I think that was like I don't know, probably Rush Limbaugh or fucking Sean Hannity or something. I don't know.
I'm going to start saying it. I
Sean
can tell you that
Hannity
much.
said libtards.
I don't
Or
know,
someone,
dude.
someone on TV said libtards, and didn't
Ann
get,
Coulter
like,
would say that.
Oh my God.
I bet.
I guess you can say anything on Fox News.
Bomb them.
Bomb them.
Yeah,
Bomb them and bomb them again.
I love that clip. We should find that clip when we're on break.
Yeah.
Cunt.
So, where the fuck were we? Just totally lost my train of thought.
Left, right,
Yeah,
police.
the police issue
argument.
being a left-right
Yeah,
thing.
well,
The callers calling in.
I feel like a lot of the people that I know that might classify themselves as on the left side, if they had to choose between left and right, they're kind of the people who sometimes are apologists for police.
I feel like those
Like-
are the
Yeah.
the hippies.
Well,
ones
the
that
police,
say
like,
there
oh.
are good cops and just give them a hug and it's okay. You
Put
know?
Yeah.
a flower in their rifle. Give them some fried rice.
Yeah.
But
no, that's
This
exactly
is,
what
this
it
is
is.
some quinoa and spinach, bro,
it's good for you.
in a spinach wrap.
It's got antioxidants.
Some pomegranate juice.
You know you can only get vitamin D from the sun, right? You should take off that helmet.
Put your palm towards the sun. That's the best way to absorb it. I'll play a song on my ukulele.
But it's like people who are sort of blind, and they get into a lot of them don't mean any harm. They get into being very like leftist because of some like clear social issues in the country, which make them go, hey, I want to support problems in minority communities or call attention to them, or I feel like we should address them. I want to be socially supportive of people who have different sexual choices, and it's all like kind of noble stuff that a lot of those people kind of get into that mode for, you know. But then it ends up running away with itself because the assumed thing is they're going to ask the government to interfere on their behalf to impose their will on other people, which only leads to a snowball of violence and control, you know.
Right.
So it's a weird, you know, that you don't blame them for thinking that way, but they just haven't realized what exactly they're asking for in a lot of cases, you know.
Yeah.
When you ask for a new law to be made, you're asking for people to enforce that law through threat of violence. So all the implications really have to be thought through, but I think a lot of those people don't, you know.
No, they don't take it. They should take it one step further than they do.
So anyways, those are the people who end up, yeah, you're right. Like, you would think people who are very anti-violence would be anti-police, but a lot of times they're not, because it doesn't jive with the rest of their political motives. They really do believe government works for the people in most cases, you know. But
which is why it's surprising there's still so many of them.
Well, they kind of fall into a gray area. They're not anti-police, but they're also not anti-police. You know, they want the police to change the way that they operate, and they think they can do it through legislation and
drum
being
circles.
Nice and yeah,
And drum circles, yeah. Voting in drum circles.
You know, so they're not quite anti-police, but you know, they'll still make excuses for them. You know,
like, I found a lot of people will, because the next step in the conversation is logically, well, what do you do without the police? And that's a scary thought for most people. They can't envision a world at this point which wasn't like this 100 years ago.
Yeah.
But nowadays, most people literally cannot envision a world where they're responsible for their own safety and maybe even for enacting their own justice when necessary. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And also, they can only imagine a world where crime is running rampant and
And they think that everyone just
only
becomes a
thing-
wild criminal when the cops go away.
yeah, the only
Like-
thing keeping people from committing crimes is the cops.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, to me, I've just always found absurd. It seems so obvious that if we developed a culture where people were more responsible for their own safety and they were more armed and ready to defend themselves, that would be the biggest deterrent for crime possible. Because I've been a criminal and ran around in the dark and stole things. And if I thought everyone where I was kind of keeping an eye out and had weapons, I would have never fucking had the balls to do it. I was in a rich town in a fucking, you know, going to subdivisions where people thought their shit didn't stink and never thought anything bad could ever happen to them, and taking advantage of that because I just didn't feel like working. You know? So, I mean, so it was like, I've actually done that, just horrible criminal shit for years. And I never would, the cops were not a concern because they're too stupid. You see them coming from a mile away. They're fucking slow. They don't like to get out of their car and run. You get disappeared down a creek and they're not going with you. You know, it's just, it's easy. The cops are fucking easy. They really are. They're really not the big deterrent for criminal behavior.
Yeah, that's not the thing that stops you from doing it.
Yeah. What was a deterrent is the fear of somebody walking out of their house with a fucking gun and sticking it in my face, as they would have had every right to do. And,
Right.
And I couldn't have faulted them for it either, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
that was scary.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also the other thing too is that communities have gone away more and more. People are living on a larger scale. They commute further to work. They have a further group of friends, and there's less social responsibility to those around you. And I think without police, a sense of community would regrow because everybody would be looking out for each other.
Communities have become compartmentalized and people have become isolated, and
Yeah.
your social circles are more specialized and shit, and you're not just kind of involved with the people in your immediate area.
Yeah,
For
just
sure.
because they're
Yeah.
around you. But I have a feeling that would regrow. And I've said it a million times, if police just patrolled in their own communities, that would solve that problem too, because they would be held socially responsible for what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
Also, if they acted like the fire department and they just sat at the station until they were
Until a
summoned.
violent crime was reported.
If they just sat at the
Yeah.
station being assholes until they were called instead of ran around in the streets
Yeah,
being
you
assholes,
know.
I still say firemen are dicks, dude. I
Well,
don't
I'm,
care what
I'm
anyone
sure
says.
they are, but that would be a much better police situation if they just fucking stayed away until you actually needed them.
Well, I will give that to the police around here where I'm at. I'm in a really old town, and like we've talked about on the show before, it was mob run for a long time, and this police department was owned by the mob. The police chief was put in by the fucking what was it, Andrea? The Giancana or some shit family or whatever. But
I don't know. We covered this.
We did it on the show, and in this town, the cops don't do shit. They chill at the Dunkin' Donuts and just hang out, which is totally. Everybody makes fun of them for that. I think that's fine. Leave me alone. And I can pull up right in front of them, go to the gas station, drunk, get out of my car, go up there, not where they don't fucking come over and hassle you, check you out, nothing. They don't care. You're not killing anybody, whatever.
Yeah.
know. I will give them that around here.
There are a couple towns like that around here. I had in a town where I used to work, I had a police officer tell me that they literally don't have the manpower to do traffic enforcement, and that you could just speed as much as you want, and they're not looking for you.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, which is cool.
Where was that? Was that Clarendon Hills?
No, Clarendon Hills is where the police stay in the station. There's only 2 officers on duty every weeknight, and they stay in the station unless they're called.
Yeah. But Clarendon Hills, for
It's like a
whatever
square
reason,
mile.
Clarendon Hills, Illinois, don't ask me why, but I've looked up their crime statistics before, and I think I recall, Andrea, wait, I want you to verify this.
Okay.
This is just off the top of my head. I think they've had 2 murders in the past 100 years. And one was a few years ago, and the other was in, 1913. Or that might have been Hinsdale. Fuck, I might be totally wrong about this.
You might be totally wrong about this. Let's see, 2006. Ew, she was 8. Her dad murdered her. Gross. That was in 2006.
Yeah.
Wow, horrible.
I remember there was one a few years ago. 8-year-old girl getting murdered.
Oh, here's one in March, actually. Of
Oh,
this
really?
year. Yeah.
There was a murder in Downers Grove this year, another nice, quiet little town around here. Or last year, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's murders.
There's murders. There was a murder.
There's murders.
When I moved
there's
into
a
my
murder.
first apartment on my own for the first time in Westmont, which is another very low-key town here, there was a double murder suicide 3 blocks from my apartment in one of those neighborhoods.
Yeah, dude, it's amazing the way that people don't change their perception about the safety of a place because of what's happening there. Mm-hmm. What we grew up in Downers Grove, this little town for our international audience, this little town outside of Chicago that's really nice. And there were kids doing heroin, overdosing, doing crack.
Big time.
I was selling acid and mushrooms out of my locker at school. Everybody was in. There were people getting beat up. There was murders. There was fucking robberies. There was all kinds of shit. And I gotta think it couldn't have been too dissimilar from a lot of way rougher neighborhoods, honestly, for the amount of crime that was going on.
Yeah.
But here's what: people didn't change their perception about it because the lawns are nice. I mean, it's really a matter
It
of
was expensive to live there.
everybody
The
acts
houses
like
are
it's
big.
nice, so it is nice.
So it just is, yeah.
I mean,
Meanwhile, all of the shops in the downtown area are closing down.
everything has closed. There's not a business that lasts more than 3 years.
Yeah.
People pay fucking.
Except the ice cream store.
This is crazy. I never thought about this before. There's so much crime. Businesses don't last. But it's nice. Why is it nice?
Because it's expensive
Because
to live
it's expensive as shit, but it's not even nice. But that's my point. Is
I know.
it's not even actually nice. It just looks like that, and everyone believes it.
White people live there.
That mic's not on.
He
And
said
I'm not
white
exci-
people live here.
Yeah, I don't think it's that simple. There's a lot of rich fucking other types of towns that are probably the same case.
All the black kids went to the South Side High School, though. That's a true thing. The North Side High School was 98% white.
We're also right next
Yeah, that's
to a
true.
very large natural source of fresh water. So, maybe Chicagoland burbs are just always meant to be a nice place to live and like wealthy people fly, like CEOs of big corporations.
Yeah, but I
live
just mean
here.
it's like it's got all the same things going on as a lot like slummier kind of towns.
Yeah.
Sure. Because
I don't know,
you
it's
need
just-
you need poor people in the rich neighborhoods to do the servant work, you know.
That's true.
So like you're gonna have
'Twas
crime no
ever
matter
thus.
where you go. It's just how much can you throw a rich person blanket on it.
Yeah.
Ooh, I
And-
love rich people blankets. Fucking like high thread count or like down blankets.
So
Holy
cozy.
shit! One time I had this girlfriend who was pretty well off compared to me, and she was always pissed off about my bedding situation, you know. And I just had like just poor people shit, you know. And
Yeah.
she's like, "I'm gonna buy you a whole new bed set and everything." I'm like, all right. She comes back with this fucking. I've never felt anything like this in my life, like a down comforter with like super soft fucking material. You understand? It was like something you don't. People who don't spend $100 on their blankets never would know. I mean, it's just
No. Why would you know
Dude,
that?
I couldn't believe what I was sleeping in. The sheets, I had no idea that people were living like this, you know? I had no idea. I've never been in a fucking nice hotel or anything. I'm a scumbag. And so, you know, I'm like, could not believe how nice this was. And then when we broke up, she came while I was at work and fucking took everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
What a bitch.
that is such a bitchy
She
move.
took all the bedding.
Oh my god,
back.
that's horrible.
And what are you gonna do? Because it was boy colors. It was like blue with gray trim. She's not
Yeah.
gonna use it, and
That's
was
what I
gonna.
was
She just wanted to
imagining.
hurt you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know exactly.
Probably threw it in the garbage.
Yeah,
She burned it.
Yeah.
I know. And
oh.
I'll
With this fire, I let him go.
it.
I do remember.
I can't have it around because I think of him.
I do remember saying. I do remember. Hold on. I do remember telling her because like we talked on the phone after that, and I was like, "Do you understand that for the rest of my life, I'll probably never be able to get a blanket that nice again?" Like, I was like, "Dude, can you give me the blanket back? Just the blanket, not even the sheets or she's like, no." Like, well, fuck. No. Yeah. I do remember just like totally bearing my soul. Just like, please, I really like it. I need it. Like, I'll do anything for that blanket. Like, just come on. I'll never have one like it again.
No, there's nothing like a down.
She was probably mad that I cared a lot more about that blanket than our relationship.
You snuggled it more than you did her.
Yeah.
That usually gets under their skin.
Yeah.
That's why
Dames.
she broke up with you.
Dames.
Broads.
You like the blanket more than you like me.
All right, well, we got to take a quick break.
Yeah.
Matt Gear's here. David Box, are you sticking around for a minute?
Well, no, we got to hit the road
You gotta go?
pretty soon. I might stick around a little bit longer, but
Because
we got a thing to
I've
do.
teased this on the show a few times before, but our friend Mark, the star person, is supposed to call in.
Yeah.
Finally.
Finally.
When's he expected to...
A few minutes. I'm going to get him during the break. I'm going to get him on the line, and then we'll bring him on as soon as we come back.
I'll stick around for the beginning of that.
yeah.
It's
I
going
gotta
to
get
be
going
weird.
soon, though.
It's just a large, weird, unfolding conversation. We're just going to give him a chance to just kind of come on, and we'll see where it goes, you know?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Let me... Oh, wait. I have the music today, don't I? Do you have music?
I don't.
You don't?
I can.
No, I'll get it.
See.
Just babble for a minute while I grab something.
I will babble for a minute. I'm really excited to talk to the star person because I am thoroughly convinced at this point that I'm also a star person.
Are you really?
And, yeah. I'm
Thoroughly convinced.
I'm thoroughly
Yeah,
convinced.
thoroughly
Thoroughly.
convinced.
Thoroughly. No,
You're a star.
I pretty strongly believe that. I think David Box feels similarly.
Yeah.
But the
I
more
mean-
I think about it, the more it makes sense. And I'm pretty sure I'm from Jupiter. That's what I'm going with. I genuinely believe if I'm from
Theta hip hop
a different
is like the
planet,
way-
it's Jupiter.
Whoops, sorry.
Whoa.
That's okay.
Baby hip hop is Jupiter.
Matt's
Matt
making
is-
planet
Matt's starting the
jokes.
half-assed
He
cheesy jokes early
He said
over in the
he's from
corner
the-
by himself.
Yeah.
said he's from Uranus.
All right. I want to play some gyroscope. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Hopefully we'll have Mark on the line when we get back. Mark, who is
Of the star people.
of the star people. And we're gonna get into a lot of that language and why you call them star people instead of aliens and things like that.
Yeah.
Pay homage to God, nothing but excellence. Renaissance in the crease of my palm, squeeze till it's medicine.
All right, playing some tub geometry there.
Oh yeah.
Our old pals.
Good friends of the show.
2Geo.
What do we have coming up here, Vinny?
Tub geometry. We got all right. So I've talked about him on the show before. My pal Mark, who I've chatted with on the phone a couple of times. I don't think we really. Let's just get into the conversation. What the hell? And we'll see where we end up. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Vinny.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Cool, man. Thank you for calling in. I know we don't. It's not like you're really promoting anything or trying to get any particular message out. It's just that we were kind of brought together by a mutual acquaintance, and I thought it was a pretty interesting conversation. I said, "Why don't you call in the show and help me take up some time?" So I guess what I kind of told everybody was that I have you in my phone as Mark Star Person. So how do you I guess let's just get started by that. What do you want people to know about the difference between saying star people, alien, all these different words we might use for these other travelers that we don't understand?
I guess I could say from the information I've received that if you say aliens, you're going to get alien energy. You say star people, you're going to get star people energy, which are vastly different energies. So if you want to be, if you want to walk on the safe side of life, you say star people, or at the very least extraterrestrial. I've been taught by my friend Chief Golden Light Eagle to say star people. It's a very, very sacred connection there. And at one of his conferences a couple of years ago, an Arcturian woman who was part of the family told me that I've been told that Andromedan, a couple other families, she said no. She said, "You're definitely Arcturian." I said, "Okay, fine, it's cool. Now what?" But I helped save her life at the first conference I went to because she spent too much time in our atmosphere without getting a recharge. And so me and a group of people brought her back to life, and she's just a really, really darling woman. And what I've learned through that group of I made the major mistake my first conference of saying, "Hey, this is great, meeting a whole bunch of real Native American people," and they kind of looked at me strange. I was like, "Did I say something wrong?" And Eagle said to me, he's like, "Well, you use that term, the term Native American. That's the white man's politically correct term. Because we're Indians. We're proud to be Indians." I said, "Okay, I didn't know that." He said, "You're a really cool white boy. We like you, you know." So they brought me later on. They brought me into the family, and it's been the most amazing experience. That it's mind-boggling because how connected they are to Earth. It took me about 3 or 4 conferences to just get adjusted to their energy level.
What kind of conferences? What kind of conferences are you talking about?
They used to be called Star Knowledge Conferences. They don't do conferences anymore. There's been a split up in things, but it was just amazing. I mean, being around that extremely pure, high energy, heart energy was just like, okay, I thought I was Mr. Metaphysical and stuff. What have I got myself into here? I mean, like these people, they talk to the dolphins, they talk to the whales, they talk to the stones, they talk to the sky. It's like, I was totally unprepared for it. I thought I really was like, okay, well, this is going to be my next step. But it took me about 2 years to get into their energy field where you respect everything. Everything is sacred. Absolutely everything is sacred. And you say they respect the grandmothers, the grandfathers, each other, Mother Earth especially, and above all else, the children. And I've come to learn that they are the true masters. That blew me away. I was like, children? Children, really? Oh, they are the masters. They know everything. And through the other people I've become involved in, I was just like, whoa, okay, I am out of my league here, way out of my league. And I thought I knew everything. I've watched many YouTube videos, read hundreds of Metatron channelings, and I'm like, okay, I'm Mr. Metaphysical here. I got into that league. I was like, oh, I don't know very much, do I?
Right, yeah.
Not much at all. So that's where it's all come about in the last few years for me. It's been just a major awakening that I had never experienced, never even thought about. But I'm extremely grateful to have gotten this information.
That's mind blowing.
All right, hold on. So that kind of gives everybody like a little bit of a I guess an introduction to kind of what now Mark is a guy who's, you can tell he's kind of just overflowing with these ideas.
Yeah,
And
wait,
he's-
can I
and
ask a
that's-
question?
So hold on, let's go. David Box asked first. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I had a question. So when you say using the term alien versus extraterrestrial, terrestrial versus star person, are you saying that that'll draw a different energy from a star person, or that an alien is the incorrect term because an alien is something other than a star person? You see what I mean?
Technically, they're all star people, but it's a really complicated story. But yes, if you use the term aliens, you're going to get the, quote, fallen ones into your energy field, and they just love to play with you. They really like to do, tricks or sometimes even nasty things to you. But if you say star people, you're getting the highly evolved people, beings. I don't even know if the term people is correct, but highly evolved beings into your energy field. And if you ask them, if you cooperate with them and say, would you please keep the darker energies out of the field, and they can do their best. But Earth is a free will energy field, so you still have to be on your toes. You still have to be a little bit, have to be observant.
Okay, so basically, I think what we're getting there is, it's like depending on how you put out your energy, you will get different levels of beings who might
exactly
interact with you.
Exactly.
And I've heard, that's pretty common in extraterrestrial folklore. Sorry for lack of a better word, I guess. And it's pretty common that there are these like, what did you call them? The low level what?
Well,
they're like
I
drones.
just call them
they're like
the lower vibration beings.
Okay, because a lot of people report that there's like these low level like slave drones kind of experience. You know what I mean? Like you've heard this before, right?
Yeah.
And there's like 3 tiers of these beings that they encounter, whatever. Mac, you had another question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Going back to what you said before about the woman that you guys helped who was in need of a charge, I was just curious to know how that went down exactly. Like, what did you do?
Okay.
It was just really I was attending her last lecture, and I actually objected to it. I went down to the conference with a friend of mine from church, and we were supposed to leave early in the afternoon because we had a 5-hour trip back to Chicago. And I said, no. I said, we've got to go. She said, no, you've got to meet this woman. You've got to meet this woman. I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to be driving home in the nighttime. That's not a good thing. I said, you maybe have to help me out with this. She goes, trust me, you'll be blown away by this. I said, okay. So as I can't give her name, but as she was starting out with the lecture, I was like, oh, okay. So this is how ego runs things. And at the end of the lecture, I just said, can I please have a hug? And she gave me a hug. And I was like, okay, the energy in this little conference room is like blowing the roof off. I'm like, I got to get out of here. I got to have to breathe. So I walked out, and just a couple of minutes later, maybe not even that, she comes running out, and she's ready to burst through these double doors that are alarmed. And I was just like, I said, you can't do that. She goes, what do you need? I said, that'll draw the police and fire. She goes, I can't breathe. I'm going to die. I was like, oh God. So I grabbed her and I said, let's go to the other exit. Let's go to the other exit. So we literally ran, and people were looking. I was like, what are those two doing? And I ran outside. It was a beautiful November day, a little bit cool, but beautiful. And she lays down in the grass, and I was like, what do I do? What am I supposed to do here? And all of a sudden, about 10 women come running out, and a couple of men are like, where is she? I said, she's over there, laying in the grass. I said, come over here. We're going to do some energy work. So we did some energy. What we actually did was we channeled pure oxygen to her using our hands. And eventually, with all the energy work, she came to. It was so cute. She sits up, and she had a little white feather in her hand, and she goes, I saw you, I saw you, I saw you, I saw you, and I saw you. And they took her back to wherever, I don't know. But I said, look, I really like to help out here, but I just don't, I have to move on. I mean, I'd like to be with this wonderful woman and help her out and stuff, but I knew her friends were going to do that for her, so I just left everything alone. Then I came back to Chicago, and then I met her at another conference, and she's like, "I really like you. You understand. You actually understand what I'm talking about." I said, "Well, yeah, perfectly." She goes, "No one can understand you but you." And she said, "You and Eagle and a few other people." She goes, "Do you talk on the phone much?" I said, "Well, not much. I said, I'm not a cell phone person." She goes, "Neither am I. I can't stand. They melt in my hands." And I was just like, so we ended up actually. She was using her family members to help her out with having conversations would last like 2 or 3 hours. And I finally like, something, my phone is frying my ears. She goes, "Mine too." But whenever she called, I knew it was she needed something. So I would talk to her, and unfortunately, she's moved on with some other people who. What I've discovered recently, this group of people all know each other, and I didn't know that a couple of years ago. And now it's like, oh, you all know each other, and so now I'm getting into that energy field where it's like, wow, channeling dolphins, channeling whales, channeling Mother Earth, channeling the star people.
I do
was
not.
like, oh, this is cool.
So isn't that just like basically like Reiki though, or like a lot of like
No.
It's
It's far
psychic
beyond.
vampire?
In fact, with my fourth near-death experience, when I took a 15,000 volt electrical hit,
But what you
my friends who
described-
do energy healing said, "You got cleaned up the hard way, buddy." But no, it's called channeling, and
But no, I'm saying regardless of what you want to call it, it's the same thing. It's
What do you
it's
mean?
focusing energy, positive energy, from a person's hands through their hands to another person, right?
Right, and
Okay.
Reiki, my healings take, and I
That's
don't
Reiki.
even really say I do healing. I do energy work, but mine take like 3 or 4 minutes, whereas most Reiki masters take like a half an hour to an hour. And I've shown them what I can do, and they're like, "That's not humanly possible." And then I found out at a lecture about it was last August. A woman I know who used to channel Cryon. I asked some kind of strange question. I don't even know what it was. And she's the only channeler I've ever known who can jump in and out of channeling. And she jumped into channeling Cryon,
David
and
Box
Cryon
is
said,
leaving.
"You think you're human because you have a human type of body, but you aren't."
fun
And a
with
friend of mine
this,
sitting
guys.
next to me said, "I thought that about him a
Bye,
few years ago.
David.
We talked about the star people, and the archangels, and he just talks in a completely different way than anybody I've ever heard. And to me, that's just natural. That's just the way That's just the way metaphysics is. I just talk metaphysics. That's all I know how to talk.
So she channels who now?
She used to channel Cryon for
who's
many
that?
years until she gave it up because what I've been finding out from some of my other friends who do channel the
Wait, Mark, please
star
slow
people,
down.
archangels.
Not
like,
all the listeners know.
Yeah, we need to know
You got to
more.
slow down for us, please.
Yeah, we need to know
I'm
what.
Go
sorry.
back. Go
what's
back.
what's Cryon?
I'm not. Cryon is a star being. I haven't really done a whole lot of research into Cryon. My main source of information is Archangel Metatron. Huge Metatron fan.
All right, so
Follower.
explain that to us a little bit.
Extremely excellent website that I've been following for several years is www.earth-keeper.com.
Oh yeah,
James Tiburon channels Archangel Metatron, and I've been reading. I don't care for the
I've read
the,
these, dude. I've read the
YouTube
channeling.
versions are up. They're computer generated. I don't care for that, but I've read hundreds of those Metatron channelings.
Yeah, I've read a lot of the channelings on this site too before. Now that Andrea brings it up, so I've just kind of clicked around on them and gone, "Now, what the fuck is this?" And it never made much sense out of anything. And I always wonder when I'm looking at something like this, I go, where does the confidence come from? And where people go, "Hey, I'm channeling this," and then they get 10,000 people that read the thing and really believe in it and stuff. I'm like, where's the validation? How did this all start? What is this community that really truly does believe they're communicating with these star people or extraterrestrial beings or whoever they are? to someone who just stumbles upon it like I did, you just go, what the hell is, because there's a confidence behind it that's intriguing. When you see other people doing it, you're like, wow, how are these people so into this thing that I've never heard of, that doesn't get talked about, that I you know what I mean? It's like, where how did you find yourself to go, okay, this is the thing I read, this is what resonates to me, and this is, you know what I mean? Is anybody following me here? Or?
I am, yeah. I just stumbled on the website too. I'm not even sure what I'm looking at.
Yeah, Mark, do you know what I'm saying? Like, to an outsider, it seems so disorienting. How did you kind of make sense out of all this stuff?
It was after my fourth near-death experience. I really shouldn't call it a near-death experience. I didn't experience the tunnel or anything like that. But
sure.
I don't know. I just started searching, and I was just like, I think it was my mom back then. She sent me an email saying, "This is you." And I was just like, it was some kind of test for indigos. I was like, what the heck is this? And I went to the trades page, and I looked at that. I was like, what is this? And I started looking at it. I was like, I'm every single one of these. What am I getting into here? And so I started doing some more. Back when I had old computer, I started doing more searches. I came across Wendy Chapman's site of Indigo Children, and I was just like, now I understand. Now I get my life. Now everything's starting to click. And that's when I started getting into the Star Children, Indigos, crystals, and stuff like that. And I joined a couple of websites back then. And a couple of women said, oh, you may want to check out this website. And through being guided through my guides and their guides, I went to an absolutely, totally awesome website. In fact, I'm on my computer right now. See if I can. What is it now? I don't want to get off this thing right now, but it's Frank Hoogerbeets from the Netherlands. He's got an absolutely stunning website, and I've actually communicated with him via email a couple of times. That he's got all sorts of channelings all over this website, and I was just like, and then he's got his list of favorites. There was like 100 back then. I just started clicking on some of the favorites. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah, I mean,
cool. So
I've
that's how I got into it.
I've definitely read through them and just gone, wow, this feels cool. It seems like I'm kind of connecting to something and getting some sort of wisdom here or something. But it's just, there's also this element to me that's always been like, shit, I have no idea where this is coming from or who these people are or how this whole culture developed,
Well, this is the thing about metaphysics, and it's so high in enlightenment and understanding that we're trying to get people to connect more within and to their higher consciousness, whatever you want to call it, God, spirit, equal causal spirit, whatever you want. It's connecting with that higher consciousness, and for us, it's just an automatic knowing. When you tap into something, you either know that it's right for you, or it's maybe, or it's no. There's, unfortunately for myself, my guides have guided me to the perfect websites, the perfect information, the perfect people. They're like, you need to go here. You need to go here. It's almost like I feel like they almost are like they're tapping me on the shoulder and said, check out this one, check out this one, check out this one. And now I've got probably 150 websites saved to my favorites.
That are all channeling and shit?
Most of it is channeling, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And it's just, I just connect with it. It's just like, yeah, I like it. Now, so the Cryon, I didn't really connect with that too much, but I trusted my friend Lee, who used to channel Cryon. But, yeah, it's definitely, you have to be discerning, but
yeah.
With metaphysics, for me, it's just a knowing. It's just like it feels right or it doesn't feel right. And if I know if it doesn't feel right, which is extremely rare, then obviously I just don't pay attention to it.
So yeah, I've had a couple of friends who did this before. Have you guys seen this stuff before, Andrea, or no?
No, I'm not familiar with this. And that kind of surprises me because I consider myself to be familiar with things like this.
No, yeah, I mean, I forget how I originally got to these kind of websites because there are a bunch of them, but I think it was kind of through Hollow Earth or something, and that I was
Right.
researching.
Great
and,
website.
and I eventually got involved in these sites that are just labyrinths of these just documented channeling sessions, and just dates and times and all kinds of. You just click one thing and it opens up into 100 different choices of different kinds of things. You're like, what the hell is any of this? Do you want to hear somebody from this galaxy or this? You're like, why? I don't know. What the hell's happening? And at first you just, but it's all done so diligently and taken so seriously that it really, even if you're just a person who has never thought of it before, you have to look at it and go, wow, there could be something here,
Yeah.
So, what the hell? I wanted to get into something else. Did you have any questions or?
No, I guess I was kind of wondering, we kind of already covered it, though. I wanted to know how you went about identifying yourself as a star person. When you were a kid, did you feel like you were different, or did it come later?
Oh, big time. Big time. I was, even my family had a hard time understanding me, but it was a lot of loneliness, a lot of rejection, because I just understood things that I couldn't explain, and it just was. I tried fitting in really, really big time just so I wouldn't be so lonely, but things just didn't feel right. And what's amazing to me is, of all, I was totally poor, a really bad student all the way through school and stuff like that. They tried to get me into speed reading in grade school. I'm partially dyslexic, and I was just like, okay, I had to do summer school and all this stuff, and I was like, God, I'm an idiot. But the thing is, when I would take tests, I would either change grade at grade school level or high school or even college level, and I'm like, how is it possible that a 6-year-old or 6th grade kid can understand this kind of material at high school or college level? This is impossible. So they just kind of pushed me through the whole system, and through my own research in metaphysics, now people come to me and say, what was that website you talked about? What was that channel you talked about? What was that thing you talked about? I was like, it was just, for me, it was just like, wow, this is really cool. This is really cool. This is really cool. And I suddenly came into my own, and now people are like, how can you even understand this? And I was like, to me, it's like, duh. But I have to realize to other people, it's like confusing. And that's the kind of a hurdle I've had to cross over. And whatever comes to me, it's like, oh, this is very interesting. I understand this perfectly. And everybody else is like, you do? It's like, well, yeah. It just comes to me. My first major discovery was Dr. Emoto's Messages from Water. I couldn't figure that out for the life of me. I would go on my computer every night, and it's like, I don't, and I finally yelled out one night, I don't get this! And all of a sudden I felt this tingling within my body. I was just like, oh. And since then, everything else I couldn't understand, the universe said, hey, he opened up, and just did a download on me. I was just like,
Are you talking about that? Are you talking about the experiment where the guy wrote different words on different containers of water?
Exactly.
And,
I think the words that jumped out to me were energy transfer, and once I understood that, I was just like, "You're kidding me!" And that's when I started making those connections. But like I said, it was hours on the internet going through all this material. I was just like, "What's this trying to tell me? What's this trying to tell me?" And also, it was like, I started picking up, click. I'm like, oh, this is good. So it was my own self-talk. My guides were like, hey, this is your time now. You need to get this information so you can start making sense of your life. You can start making sense of this world. And we're going to guide you to the most amazing people you'll ever meet. And that's what's happened in just the last few years.
So what would you say, for the most part, is it that you understand that that most people don't, and you might like them to understand?
How amazing life is, how amazing Mother Earth is, how amazing this galaxy is, how amazing everything is. And that's what I've really learned through my Indian friends, the dolphins, the whales, Sasquatch. It just never ends. They have a moon for everything, the moon of the spider, the moon of this moon. I was just like, okay, whoa. They are still too far advanced for me, but they like my energy, and they like the fact that I can understand most of what they're doing. But yeah, if people could really understand that this world is really amazing from a multidimensional perspective, and that's the problem that I'm facing, that people like me who can understand they're multidimensional are trying to communicate with people who are stuck in the third dimensional consciousness. And we're trying to say, you're okay on that path. But if you really would like to get a better understanding, maybe you could check out this material, this website, this channeling, and open up a little bit more. But there's that fear factor always involved, that people are like, oh, alien said this. It's like, no, star people. And trying to get them to understand, trying to say, get out of the alien energy consciousness and get into the star people, because that's what you're going to start attracting by law of attraction. You start saying the right things, communicating, this is my desire, I want to do this, I want to do this, and that's how it will come to you, because what you project, that's what you're going to get back.
Yeah,
and if you
yeah.
project fear, you're going to get fear back.
Definitely. And I think I've told you over the phone before that I've gotten really into studying sigil magic at different points, and the idea that words have like a vibrational quality that really affects the reality around them, and that's the origin of a lot of seances or chanting prayers and stuff, is that these words actually do have a powerful effect on reality. And I do, if you just catch yourself, if you just say alien and then you say star person feels undeniably way more positive. It really,
It's like
so,
warmer.
yeah, it really does. It's kind of
Yeah.
It's pretty undeniable that alien is sort of a darker, fearful word. Like,
Exactly.
If you, anyone who's studied words, I think, would feel that.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
What do you think, Matt?
I mean, it's just cultural, right? I mean, Aliens, the movie, as a scary poster. Starman, the show, was a friendly show.
No, I know,
mean,
but this
from
is
the 80s. It's not.
But this is not even that. It's the idea that the way that you put together
What if
words
it-
has a vibrational quality
Okay.
that can extend into reality.
I'd like to hear it in German. And then see how calming sounding it is.
I guess.
So I don't know. I don't know.
right.
Like,
You see
it's
what?
very cultural.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know. I've often identified myself as vibration and energy, and to just extend that as words are just vibration and energy, and it's all, it all connects to itself.
Yeah, and going even further than people will say, "Hey, you think in words, so use like self-actualizing." Phrases and words, and and it'll cause you to be more positive, and that'll resonate throughout your reality. It's not even just that so much as just
Right.
the actual quality of the vibration, I guess. you know?
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, I'm definitely down with that idea. We watched some videos of your friend. Remind me of his name, Chief.
Golden Light
Chief
Eagle.
Golden Light Eagle.
Golden Light Eagle. We watched some videos. The first time we talked, actually, then we sort of had this discussion on the show later that night, and we played some of his stuff and everything. What is he like? To just to hang out with or to know as a regular guy?
I don't really. I've never really hung on with him as a regular guy.
Oh, okay.
I've gone to his conferences and listened to. He's talking about the 1111, 1212, and 1313 star codes, which is beyond what I can understand. But this information is actually on YouTube.
Seems
But
I
it's just
understand
I did spend my the 12-12-12 weekend at his wife's winter home in Wisconsin. And I did my very first Lakota sweat to their Lakota Sioux. Actually, he says Lakota, Nakota, Dakota, Sioux, and I'm not quite sure what he meant by that, but I've got a feeling it's information he was given by the Star People.
Well, I
I did
know-
my very first sweat,
Could
and
be
I was
three
just
different
like,
tribes.
I thought I was going to die. I mean, it was boiling hot, and he asked me, he said, what do you think about it? I said, Eagle. I said, that was way too hot for me. He said, yeah, everyone was asking, like, why are we doing a cold sweat? And he said, well, we got new people here. I don't want to, get them injured or anything like that. And that's what he's all about. He's all about the heart energy. And he said, you won't do any more sweats with me until I know you can handle it. And I was just like, I said, well, he said, we're going to do the hot sweat tomorrow. I was just like, he said, you'll be the gatekeeper. You'll be the one to bring in the rocks. He said, you will not attend, not join us in another sweat until I know you can handle it. And I haven't had one since, but I mean, I remember that one. It was just like, this is a cold sweat. Okay. This is more than I've never done a sweat before, but it was really interesting because that's how he is. He's just like, he wanted to test me out. He wanted to test out a couple of newcomers and say, okay, I don't know what they can take, so we're going to make this one, cool to them was boiling hot to me.
Right.
So I learned, but it's just, I've been to this place a couple of times, and it's really just amazing, the energy there. It's just like, when the stories he's told me about the beings that show up there and stuff, and the people he knows, and all the crowd that they're connected with, it's just like, wow. It's a completely and totally different world. And that's what I've discovered is the Indian energy, at least of that group of families who are Zuni, Havasupai, Cherokee. It's a whole bunch of different families, but they get together because they're heart consciousness energy, and they accept everyone is their brother and sister. They don't say, white people are the devil and stuff like that. No. It's like we're all brothers and sisters. White people did this. It's like, tell them, go on to a reservation and say, you were a white man back on one of your lifetimes, and you did your own people. No, you're lying. It's like, oh, no, I know. I can see all your ancestry. So, I mean, it's that forgetting, understanding the past, healing the past, and connecting with the heart energy instead of the ego, which just says, you did this, and you did this, and you did this. It's like, stop all that stuff. Connect with your heart energy. Love your brothers, love your sisters, love Mother Earth, love everything, love everyone as you would like to be loved yourself.
I mean, what you've described is just a lot of positivity, and that's described in a lot of other religions and philosophies. And
this is local artist Matt Gear.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like everything you've said. Like I'm just. Vin was like, "What do you think?" Gave me like, "What do you think?" Look, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of this before, just kind of told slightly differently.
Right.
I mean,
harnessing
I've heard other
positive energy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's a lot like Reiki. It's a lot like a lot of stuff. It's just positive.
Yes, and that's good. That's the area of metaphysics where you get into that higher understanding, that higher vibration.
And then
which is where you would like to be as much as you possibly can.
There's science behind the sweat lodge thing. I mean, you're forcing out a lot of toxins when you're doing that.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And
true.
I would
Very
think
true.
you would be more concerned. I mean, just to be frank.
I like the steam room. I do the steam room. It's very nice.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. Cleansing.
Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. And you know what? I agree. It does have a lot of like scientific, physical things, but there is you have a really easy time getting into a kind of meditative, cool headspace in the steam room.
absolutely.
You just sit there and just fucking zone out really quick, and
I wasn't
and just
discounting that.
kind of
either.
go to another place. It is true. I mean, it is really nice. But yeah, so you're saying Matt I think is having a hard time understanding how this is different from a lot of other
that's all. It just
metaphysical
right. And as far as being
processes, I guess,
you were saying like about star people, I'm not really like what I was familiar with that term is that is what American Indians refer to as aliens, who've been visiting us supposedly, according to a lot of people, since ancient times. And frankly, I always say I don't believe anything, but it seems highly probable.
Yeah, I think it's probable too.
So like that makes sense. But my thing is like you are a terrestrial. You were born on Earth.
No. Hold on.
I don't understand the term.
Let's go into that,
yeah,
Mark.
I was going to ask you to explain that a little better.
I was going to ask that too, Mark. You have told me, I believe that, and this might be like a really simple way of saying it. That's not quite fair to what you actually think. But you told me something about being from Venus, right?
There's a woman who came here from Venus back in the 50s who I discovered on a YouTube video, and the way she described the structure of the universe, I was just like, human beings could not know that. And I did the subsequent research I've done and read her book, which is unfortunately, I bought it on Amazon, which is unfortunately a copyright and royalty violation, which they're still trying to persecute the guy who put the book out. But still trying to meet her she's just like, what I'm learning now is that many of our star friends did come from Venus, but Earth is a very, very unique being, is that she inhabited both externally and internally. All the other planets are inhabited internally. And that's where she came from. She came from the astral level of Venus to complete a karmic mission with a young woman who was her sister back in France in, I don't know, 1800s or whatever it was, 1500s. And I've discovered, I went to do a lot of searchings. I couldn't find her at first. Finally, she's got a website that's actually run by another woman, because this woman, everything that's electronic, she just fries. So she doesn't even have a computer, no cell phone, nothing like that. She's an extraordinary woman, and I'm working with her assistant to try to meet her with her Facebook friends. And I told her, I said, well, I'm not on Facebook. I said, the information you sent to us about yourself and who you know and who knows her, that makes you authentic. So we're going to see if we can work it out, but she doesn't like to have large gatherings. So I'm still working on that. But it's like Valiant Thor, Nikola Tesla, according to her, came from Venus. Okay. And I'm finding out that most of the people who gave us our better inventions came from the higher realms of
What does that
Venus.
mean? When you say came from Venus, does that mean actually in this physical life they were living on Venus and they traveled in a ship to here?
Possibly yes, but mostly because Earth was back in the third dimension. It was such a low vibrational energy that they would have to incarnate here to get accustomed to that low energy field, to grow, to become like a human in that form. But
okay.
it's from what I've understood, it's extremely difficult unless they've gone through extensive training for a star person to just come here and show up, because the energy level back in the third dimension was so low it would kill them. Like it almost killed that woman.
Okay, so we're talking about
on Venus, the cities are in the fifth dimension. They're described as large crystal cities, according to what I'm reading about Onek, who is the woman in the 50s who came from Venus.
Okay,
she said that she lived in the fifth dimension in crystal cities on Venus, and that there's a process called ascension that allowed her to come to the third dimension.
Okay.
There are some videos here. They're pretty long, but we can come back to her at any time because she seems interesting. But I put a link up on the page for everybody.
Here's the website that I was alluding to before, that from Frank Hogelbrief. It's ditrianum.org, which is an abbreviation for Divine Triangle Numerology. Okay. And some of the stuff he posts is just, I like numerology, but he's a master at it. And trying to follow some of his postings is like, dude, okay, lighten up a little bit. But I've learned a lot from his postings on his website. All these other channel messages from all these other gifted artists and people and channelers. Really, really an awesome website. I found it probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay, so just to be clear though, what do you think you are? Like, do you think you're from some other place with a higher purpose here to lead people? Do you think you're? And I mean, and I'm really not trying to lead you in any way, but how do you explain yourself and kind of how you stand out as a being here?
I don't say I'm not like better than anyone. And
no,
people are always telling me that
oh
my God, you're so much. Don't put me on a pedestal. Please don't do that. I came here for a purpose, and that was to help usher in, and help people understand the whole 2012 thing, which people still have got a misunderstanding about. But I just say people are like, oh, you're so amazing. Like, you've got no idea how amazing you are. I wish you would understand how amazing you are. And people are like, me? Like, but you know this. I'm like, you can know it too. You can know it too. That's what I would like everyone to know about, how amazing they are. how multidimensional they are.
Right,
and that's
right.
unfortunate because they've been kind of like dumbed down. It's like, oh, well, you're just this. Don't believe what you've been told. I mean, experience
Elvis
yourself,
fucking
experience
Christ.
life, and don't let people tell you you're less than what you are. You're all magnificent, beautiful beings.
And we're all people that are pretty hip to that message. What I really was going for there is you have, when we were talking on the phone, it seemed like you had a kind of specific idea of where you were from and what your purpose was here. That's kind of what I was going for, you know.
Well, I don't know exactly where I'm from. Like I said, my friend told me I'm Arcturian, so I'm going with that. The energy seems to really, really resonate with me. And I've gone to a couple of Arcturian websites, and it really, really resonates with me. But like I said, I came here to actually clear out 2 karmic paths, one with my ex-wife and one with my late father. And when I learned that those were lessons in forgiveness, that completely I understood everything at that point.
I like that.
And I connected with a woman who's an amazing channeler who helped me understand that when I was going through my bitterness about everything. And I said, well, to be honest, those were lessons of forgiveness. I was like, forgiveness.
But then you are
Now, can you forgive or
you are
or
a
not?
terrestrial earthling though. You
What?
were-
Yeah. I mean, see, I think we're getting crossed over.
That's all. I just want to clarify.
Oh yeah. So what is your clarification?
I just want to just say like so, but you are a terrestrial earthling,
yeah.
and that you were born here. You have a birth certificate. So I don't quite understand the alien thing, or I'm sorry, the star person thing.
Like I said, star people have to be incarnated. They can't just come here. They have to be incarnated.
Yes.
I missed that. So that's
Yeah.
that's
To
what I was
understand,
like. I
to
didn't understand.
adjust to the the old third dimensional vibration. They can't just come here. So it's not just me. There's millions probably who came here for a purpose to help awaken everyone to a higher consciousness. But we had to come here to be incarnated through the natural birth method, other than to come here in physical.
That idea always really resonated with me. Actually, and I'm not being sarcastic. I really thought that I was part of like a wave of souls who were sent here to
Exactly.
And as though you're part of a different consciousness in a different realm, and you volunteer to come here for a certain job, and yeah, for a lot of different reasons, I've resonated with that in my life, and I've always been cautious to balance that out with the fact that I am frustrated in what I've tried to do in my life, and I haven't been all that successful, and I have tried not to let ideas like that run away with themselves, where I'm just looking for a way to be more of an important person than I actually am.
I think
so,
you're very successful, Vin. I think if you define success on how much material money and wealth you have, then okay, neither one of us are very successful people at all.
Yeah.
However, if you define success by quality of life, quality of friends, quality of the work that you do
And
with your
I
life,
don't.
I would say you're very successful, and
Thank you.
as am I. Like I have great friends, and I think the
Yeah,
work I do is good and important. And
I was just making the point of like a
No,
lot
I
of
know, but-
times when you're unsuccessful, you try to find grandiose explanations for your position in
That's
life.
what I mean. You
know?
got to gauge success like on what you gauge success on, not what society would have you be. Like, because the more
Yeah,
shit
that's
you
true.
can
Exactly.
accumulate, that doesn't make you better or more successful. Like, I can buy more things than you. Well, I really don't care. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but as an artist, a lot of times your material success is really a direct
Oh.
representation of how many people enjoyed your art.
artists
you know?
are generally driven by narcissism, Vin, not money.
Well, that's what
And
I was
I'll be
talking
the
about.
first to admit it. Like, it's all about, look at me, look at me. I need attention. That's what it is. At least, all right, maybe that is just me.
No,
But,
it's,
like,
it's everyone.
It's
I mean,
it's look at me.
that's-
I need attention. Like,
every artist.
I'm
is
good
like
at
that.
something.
That's
Like,
true.
I'm not a total piece of shit. Like, look, I can do something good. Like,
All right. So getting back to Mark here.
sorry.
No, it's fine, dude. We're good. We gotta wrap this up in the next couple of minutes.
Okay.
But I have a feeling that if you're cool with it, you'll become a recurring character on the show if you don't mind. So
when I have the time, like I said, I'm working 6 days a week, so that's really awesome. And I've got other side projects and conferences and stuff like that. But yes, if you're interested, and if your audience is interested,
it definitely
I will try to make.
Now that we've had you on once, and people people will get to hear it on it'll be on YouTube and stuff, and so we've kind of got an idea of where we're going. We'll be able to build this whole conversation into something pretty interesting, I would think, over time.
Okay.
So what do you have, like, in terms of where do you expect to get with your goals in this whole process? Where do you what are your plans, and are you working on anything? Are you trying to become a public speaker? Are you doing any kind of writing, any kind of thing like that to sort of further your message here?
No, I've actually people have asked me to become a public speaker, but I shy away from that. I really don't like to be known.
Hey,
I just like
wait a
to
second. Hold on.
put out the information that I've been given. I've been very, very grateful that I've been given, and hope to help people understand that information, and hope that they can shy away or turn away or whatever it is from the negative energy that's thrown at them every single day, and say, just that's what the media wants you to pay attention to. They want you to feed that energy into. Don't do that. Feed your energy into the positive information. Feed your energy into the higher understandings if you can. Spend a little time there. Go out for a walk in the trees and in a park or something like that. Connect with the tree energy. Connect with the birds and stuff like that. Connect with that energy instead of connecting with the media energy. That's a lower vibrational energy from. So I stay completely away from the media energy.
I'm down with that. I dig it.
So I hope that helps.
No, yeah. All right. So let's pick this up again in a few weeks, sometime, whenever you got a minute for us, and we'll.
Sounds great.
Yeah, we'll pick it up again. Thank you for hanging out with us. Wow, we just did a whole hour that just went by like nothing.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, Mark. We'll develop this into something, and we'll you'll become a media superstar of some sort yourself. We'll take care. We'll take care of everything.
Things are about to happen for you,
thank
kid.
you.
All right, dude. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, there he goes. I don't know what did I say? So you guys have heard me tease this whole thing.
Yeah.
I think I was pretty fair in saying, look, it's gonna sound weird. There's gonna be things that irritate you about it. There's a certain level of it. I said from the beginning that sort of sounds like evasive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
vague.
But shit, I don't know. I say we go with it.
Yeah, I like it.
What do you think, Matt? Matt's a little skeptical of the guy. That's okay.
It's not okay.
You have to love him.
There are just times when I need to just not say anything, and I think now is one of those times. Because I don't want to be insulting to anybody. That's not me, really. I don't like to.
Well, don't be insulting. I mean, and plus, I have a thing of like, if you want to, you should also say it to somebody while they at least have the chance to defend themselves.
Well,
you know?
I mean, all I can say is that like what he said was like a lot of things I've heard, and I agree that I'm sure it works, but. My question was no. Let me say.
I just wanted to say we didn't have any direction in the conversation.
I dig that, but it just like it seems like, and my concern is, he seems to be looking for somebody to like. He keeps saying, "Now I understand," and like now, like I understand everything. You're never gonna understand everything, and the people that are selling you these answers are doing just that. They're selling them to you, whether they're a church or a Native American Indian or someone claiming to be an alien. Anybody that claims to have all the answers for you, they're selling you something because nobody's got all the answers for you. And I feel bad for him. Yeah, that's all. It seems like he's searching for answers that aren't there. You have to kind of know the question first.
I don't think I would say that.
I'm judging him too harshly. I've never really spoken to him before now, so that's why I was like,
see, we've talked a few times before, and what you have to realize
I want to keep an
like,
open mind. I haven't.
It's not a path you go down for some sort of glory, really. Like the guys that are out there, like his friend that I
Oh,
always forget
we
his
both
name.
agreed
Chief,
on that. Yeah.
What's Golden Light Eagle?
Golden Light Eagle.
Now, I've kind of studied that guy a little bit because I've seen him in Sasquatch documentaries years ago. So I've looked into him. He's been on YouTube for a real long time, and he's in all kinds of shit.
We've played him on the show.
He's not hard to get to. Like guys making cheap documentaries will often get him in there, I think, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I don't think that guy's making any real money.
No, I don't think he's making it up. I don't think
he's doing it for for like glory or stardom. I think it really is kind of a thing that actually makes your life a little more awkward when you start talking about stuff like that. You actually kind of sacrifice a lot of social status and a lot of like comfort with your family and friends because like, you know, I have moved kind of back into a more I don't know what I would say, like a more normal lifestyle. Like for a while, I was walking around saying a lot of stuff like he was, you know, and I really, like I was saying, I felt like I got sent here from somewhere else to do a certain job, but I would probably sound kind of vague to somebody else too, but I felt it really strongly, you know.
I said on the break that I was from Jupiter, and I generally believe that. Not literally from Jupiter, but
we're all made of stars, technically.
Yeah.
Well, I've always had a special connection. I've always felt like Jupiter was my friend. And I know that probably sounds weird, but there has always been that for me. As soon as I learned to identify Jupiter in the sky, I felt connected to it.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I always
Anyways,
say. I don't believe
here's the
anything,
thing.
and I don't know anything,
Here's
so
the
I
thing,
can't
though.
say.
You got to appreciate a guy like Mark.
No, I do, and I'll
who
take
basically, he calls me up one day.
I take it seriously when somebody like that puts themselves out like that.
And he's overflowing with the energy of these ideas to the point that he just talks for 3 minutes without realizing it. And then he goes, I shy away from public speaking.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you would be perfect.
Right.
That's the only thing you should be
That's
doing.
why, like I said, I don't want to. I don't want to come
Um,
off as that I'm insulting him or anything, because I'm really not.
No.
I am just kind of always very skeptical. And
we're a
and
critical show. We
Right,
always pick things apart. Always.
And I just point out for myself that I am, like I said, I don't believe anything, but I think it's highly probable that aliens have and continue to visit here.
Sure.
Whatever you want to call them, alien star people. It's people from not here.
I love the fucking star people distinction, though. I really do, because it feels good, and it feels like, you know, Native Americans, or as he said, I guess they want to be called
want to be
Indian.
called
I don't
Indian.
fucking know,
Well, I would
whatever.
think they would prefer to just be called by whatever their tribe is called. You know, like
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm a Lakota, or
Yeah.
I'm a, like not an Indian or an American Indian, or just any blanket term.
That's true.
Engine.
But you know, I really like that idea of like, hey, why don't we listen to the people who have been more in tune and more open to these ideas for way longer? Because our culture has
sure.
only fucking even let them in whatsoever on the fringe in the past 70 years.
Well,
Yeah.
the Hindu
know,
holy books describe a lot of fucking weird alien battles and shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
That's I don't know.
That
I've read some
predates
pretty,
Christ, and if you read the Bible through different eyes, it's the same thing.
You're talking about the Vimanas.
Yeah.
And I'm actually at a bit of a stalemate with that because regrettably, over the past year or two, I read into some of the debunking material on that, and it was also pretty convincing.
Like what?
I don't know. We should do it. We could do an hour on that. That would be an interesting hour because it was one of those things that like I did for a week and then kind of just never looked into it again. But I remember reading a bunch of the stuff about it and then a bunch of the debunking things. And then I was kind of just like, fuck, I don't know.
Because I have read that there are places in India where it's radioactive, and it's like, well, yeah, right, but it shouldn't be.
Right.
And there's places where, like, there's glass and sand, and that can only
Yeah.
happen from extreme heat.
Yeah.
And there was never any reported extreme heat, or just a
Right.
lot of little things. And I mean, like I said, I don't know, and I don't believe anything,
A lot of the
but it seems probable.
a lot of the debunking I remember had to do with terminologies and like mistakes with translations.
Right,
You know?
lost
And
in translation.
Yeah. A lot of the debunking had to do with that
Cultural
stuff.
stuff.
Now there is the physical evidence for sure. And there's also shit in the United States all over the place,
Right.
radioactive, like the Kelly Hopkinsville case.
Right.
We should do that.
And
Did you
even
write this
going
down,
back to
Andrea?
even going back to Mark,
Vimanas?
I mean, I think that
What?
all this
Vimanas?
stuff, And
I don't know how to
as
spell
far
that.
as science and
VIH,
religions and all
some
that
shit.
stuff goes, there's grains of truth to all of it, or it's just interpretation, or you know what I mean. That's kind of what I was saying before about, isn't that just Reiki? That it would just be interpretation. It's doing the same positive thing with positive energy, and you're calling it something else, and that's fine. You can call it whatever you want. But these are good things. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying it's all interpretation, really.
Yeah, totally. No, I agree. And I think that if you're a truly open person, that you wouldn't shy away from that idea. That
Yeah, I absolutely don't. Yeah.
you know that your thing could have already been touched upon and existed.
Oh, my
in
thing's
all
been
of it.
touched.
Yeah, my thing's been touched upon.
Ooh.
So, all right. Do you guys want to come back and wrap the show up for a few minutes?
Yeah,
Would that be cold with y'all?
that'd be cold.
It'd be like
Go.
a nice sunny day yesterday.
So, anyways,
It
I'm
was
saying
44 degrees.
I'm saying we keep Mark. I like Mark.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that would work. I think some people are gonna go, "Oh, that guy just rambles on and on."
Mm-hmm.
I think we work with them a little bit.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
him to be a little
Let's-
more concise and
let's work
answer
with
questions directly.
Let's work with him a little bit, and I think that's gonna be a big area of conversation for us. You know, just a big spawning
Right.
pool of thought.
Unfortunately, I think it's like the same thing with that Ursula lady, where like these people are used to having to defend themselves against people who are assholes so much
That's what it is.
that they just have
Yeah.
to like
They
dump
have
it
a
all out. Right.
They have a preloaded.
He doesn't have to do that here, though. Like,
Right.
Mark, if you're listening, you don't have to do that here. Like,
No, people will get to know us a little better. You know, and he and what I was about to say before, I think, was like, you got to appreciate somebody like Mark who just calls me up out of the blue one day and just goes, "Hey, somebody told me to call you," and I go, "Oh, really? So why? What's going on?" You know, it wasn't that simple. Whatever. He's like, "Hey, I work with whoever. You know, they told me to talk to you about some stuff I'm thinking about." I'm like, "Okay. Sounds interesting." And we just start talking, and it was a lot like that conversation just went. It was an hour of just trying to figure each other out.
Mm-hmm.
And excuse me. And he's like, you know, I'm like, "You want to come on the show?" He's like, yeah, maybe. I'm not sure because I don't know who I can trust and this and that, you know. And
Yeah.
I don't know. You just gotta appreciate a weird fucking thing like that happening.
right. Well, he probably was a little like timid about it too, because like I said, he doesn't want to come on something where people are just waiting to like, you know, try and attack him for this, and
Which
Yeah.
it
it
would
is
be-
hard to talk about when
Which
people
would
are
be
closed
easy to
minded.
do, yeah. With anyone who steps way out of the bounds like that, it would be really easy to just go, you know, and
And
try
he-
to, you know.
Probably
Right.
meets way more resistance than anything
Oh yeah,
else.
and that's
you
why I
know?
was like, I wanted to be really like, I just want to make it clear that like I was not knocking the guy. It seems like a lot of stuff, you know what I mean, and I don't doubt it.
I
like,
generally like the whole message and idea behind it, though. I don't have
Sure.
any. I mean,
I like the message
I
behind
identify very
Jesus
closely
Christ
with
though
it.
too, and I'm not Catholic or religious at all. Like if you read it and it's like you did what the character Jesus tells you, it'd be a
Yeah.
very nice world.
All right, let's
like it
come
really
back
would.
Let's come back in a couple minutes. I really have had to piss for a while.
Word.
All right, thanks again to Mark. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
You're so fucking pathetic! I can't even think about you!
Back on the overdose.
Oh yeah. Haven't quite overdosed yet.
we'll get there.
Matt was just saying, we just started talking in the break. He's like, I made a petition.
Yes, I have started a petition, and it is on my Facebook, and I've probably thrown it up a couple times, but only 3 or 4 people have signed it. So I guess people like that politicians can lie to them. See, if you read my petition, it states it's called like stop, like you lie to the public, you lose your office. at the very least, because if you lie to the police or you perjure yourself in court, you lie to the
Fuck,
government.
I saw you post that.
It's a
and
felony.
and I thought it was just something somebody else made, so I didn't even look
No,
at it.
I personally composed and started that one.
You got 7 signatures on this bad boy.
Oh, I got some more today then, because I've been pushing it. Because I've been like, what the fuck? You guys like being lied to? Like, I don't understand why this isn't already a law.
So you made this petition where?
On one of those start a petition sites, I sign a lot of petitions, and they give me the chance to write my own a lot. And they're usually I'm like, I think everybody else has it covered, honestly. And I don't like to start ones for bullshit like, oh, support the arts by funding that. Like, they're not going to do that, so I'm not going to waste my time. But this one, I felt when I really thought about it, like, I can't understand why anybody wouldn't sign this, because it just makes perfect sense. Why aren't they held to the same standard? Like I said, you can't lie to the police legally. You can't lie in court legally. That's perjury. If you lie to the government as a corporation or even as a person.
So why can they lie to us?
Right, but they can, and they do it all the time. Or like, if,
I like it.
Or it also would go to if you are just neglecting your job, like Chris Christie was when there was
or like Chris Cross. They got really lazy with their music videos.
Oh, indeed. In backwards clothes, come on, guys.
Yeah, I know.
That's wiggity whack.
It really is.
Wiggity.
No, but like, seriously, Chris Christie, right? Like, let's take it back. What was that, like 2 years ago, with that whole thing with the traffic jam that he created to piss off somebody? I forgot what the deal was. But then when it came to light, he was like, oh, I didn't know anything about it. Well, that's your job to know about that shit. So how did you not know? So right there, it's like, okay, so you're either not doing your job or you're lying. Either way, you're fucking fired. Because when I was a bag boy at Dominic's, I would have lost my job for lesser shit. You know what I mean? I accepted $1 for helping an old lady to her car, and I would have lost my job. Like, but these assholes get tons of kickbacks, and they lie, and we accept this. Like, and this is legal. They can get away with it. Also, insider trading.
So if you get caught under what does the petition actually say?
Please read it.
The public
Hold on,
has-
Andrea. Let me get you some background for this. Give me 1 second. We are going to read the petition by Matt Gear. What was there one event that got you really fucking?
No, they just sent me another email where they're like, "Don't you want to start a petition?" And I get them a lot, and I've been kicking this one around in my mind, like, it just doesn't make sense that they can lie to us and nothing happens. Just nothing fucking happens.
Yeah.
And when and I mean, if you read it, like, there has to be proof, and it has to be something that matters, okay? Like, this would not have impeached or made Bill Clinton lose his job when he was like, oh, I didn't get a blowjob. Like, nobody cares about that. Like, that is not important shit. That didn't hurt anyone. But when you start a war with another country because they have weapons of mass destruction, and we find out that you lied, well, you lied, and you go to jail over shit like that, or you at the very least lose your fucking job. Get the fuck out of there.
Andrea, what does the petition say precisely?
Lie to the public, lose your position. Politicians caught in bold-faced lies to the public should lose their office and be fired. The public has lost all faith in our elected officials and government in general. Each party seems to have its own interests at heart, not what's good for the people. If it's a crime to lie to the police or perjure yourself in court, why are they permitted to lie to the public they serve?
Simple, right?
Yeah, straight to the point.
Even a 6-year-old can understand that. And I always say, if a 6-year-old can't understand a law, then it is not a good law.
Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb, I think.
Because we are, at the end of the day, a country of fucking 6-year-olds.
We're children.
I've said that
Right.
100 times.
Well, your average person, the IQ is not even in the triple digits, I don't think.
No.
Which is pretty fucking low. Yeah, that makes you sad, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I entered the triple digits when I was 6.
Yes.
Well, Matt Gear, you're getting the old overdose bum.
Right? So, hey, sign my petition, everybody.
least
Or
3 or 4
continue to be
signatures.
lied
Yeah.
to. It's, I mean, I can't believe that. I've got, like a couple hundreds of Facebook friends and, thousands of followers.
Nobody will get on this. Let's
Right.
push this.
I'm like,
I'm
come
signing
on.
it right now.
Right? I'm
Yeah.
like, really?
We'll
Like,
push this.
what is the worst that can happen? Like, what do you think is going to happen if you all sign it? You know what I mean? Like, what?
Do I really have to put my address down? God.
Is that what people are afraid of? They have to trust me. The government knows where you're at. Like,
I know.
putting it on
I
Facebook
don't-
is the least of your worries, really.
It just seemed like a lot of work.
I know.
Thank God for autofill.
Guess what else, though? You talked too long. And I
Oh,
forgot
I
what
also
was
have
gonna
a
say.
show coming up in Pilsen
Oh, yeah.
on July 3rd. I have my big Necrocolor show where you can see the world through the eyes of the gods and be revolted. Come see the fucking truth at the Pilsen Outpost, 1958 West 21st Street in Pilsen.
What date?
July 3rd, once
right.
again, July 3rd, the day before the 4th of July.
I've got June 20th at the Uptown Tavern in Westmont with Robot Hilarious. If you guys want to come out and see us
I
live.
will definitely do that.
Robot.
Where is it?
In Westmont, Uptown Tavern. I don't know. Fuck, what's the address? Some shit. 12.
12.
The address is
West
12.
Burlington.
12 West Burlington.
Can I ride with the
Westmont.
band?
Yeah, you can come with us.
I'll just do that. Then I
Yeah,
don't
no
have
problem.
to know where it is. But
Yeah.
you should tell people once again the address.
Nah, fuck them. Whatever. You guys come.
Come to the show.
Come if you want, or fucking go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I get paid the same either way. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you guys. But yeah, come out and check us out.
And I'm sorry. On the 30th of this month, May 30th, I will be doing the Keep Berwyn Weird painting some big heads thing for BAM, Berwyn Arts, and what is it? Art. I forget what the M stands for. Fuck.
Media?
So, I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah, it
but
probably is.
Is okay, but it's BAM, and it is Keep Berwyn Weird, and we're going to be painting some really big paper mache heads that some of the artists and folks have made, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I wish I had more info on it, but that's what I'm doing. Get with Aaron McMichaels on that, and I'll come hype it again when I have more info.
Yeah,
I'm
whatever.
sorry, it's a little premature.
That's cool. All right, so yeah, that's all I got going on right now. We're going out of town again in August. We're going to be doing like 10, 15 cities or something. So
Ooh.
Whoa.
I'll try to let people know about that. And then, shit. What do you got, Andrea? Working at a restaurant this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna work at a
You
restaurant.
gonna fucking wait some tables, or what are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's fucking.
You're gonna help
terrible.
me submit to some art magazines too
Yeah.
sometime in the near future.
I'm gonna help Matt Gear.
because I'm an idiot.
Let's talk about where we're going with the show.
We're doing stuff with
baby.
the show.
We're gonna try to be on 10 or 15 new platforms
Yes.
soon.
We're looking at 8 right now, but that's the first draft of the list.
And I found a
so-
couple new ones today.
Oh, okay,
too.
cool.
Yeah.
So we're looking at 10.
So we're gonna try to find our audience once and for all around here.
We know they're out there.
And
guys are out
listeners,
there.
spread the word. Tell your chums. Tell your mom.
Yeah, and come out to these live events. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of. I think I'm gonna add. You know what? Let's do this. Let's make the Sunday evening overdose, or just the overdose. What are we now? The Overdose Talk Network.
We're the overdose.
So, the Overdose Talk Network presents July 20th at the Uptown. Robot
Aw,
hilarious.
yeah.
So let's do that. Let's link that whole thing up.
All right, done.
I'm making the show
Linked.
the promoter.
Yeah.
We are
happening.
now the promoter. All right. So that's
We
what's
are,
going on.
We are planning on getting some merch for our fans as well for the show.
For the talk show.
For the talk show, yeah. And don't forget about SilCon in Mattoon, Illinois, coming up in August. We are planning some awesome stuff for
We're gonna
that
be
event. If you guys
broadcasting
want to come,
live from that shit.
It's gonna be
it's
wild.
going to be really
It's gonna be
fun.
really fun.
It's going to be so fun,
We're gonna have to sneak our drugs and our booze.
dude.
And I'm bringing
In my
Coke,
butt.
by the way. I'm bringing Coke, and I'm bringing weed, and I'm bringing mushrooms, and I'm bringing whiskey.
Morgan really wants some blow if you can get her some.
Is she gonna come? Is she gonna come to the convention?
Yeah, we really shouldn't be talking about this on air, but
No,
she'd
probably
like
not.
to. She'd like
No.
to. She'd like to come with.
I don't do Coke that often, but I could get it.
Let's not talk about this on air. But
I-
yeah, like
The
I
numbers,
do want
the,
to
num-
come.
the number's not saved in my phone. I don't give a shit.
Okay, good.
But
yeah.
you guys, it's free. The convention is free. It's going to be really fun. We're going to do a bunch of fun stuff. All you have to do if you want to go for 2 days is, get a hotel room. We will be.
Yeah, come on down to SilCon in Mattoon. We'll be partying. We're gonna interview a lot of these people before we go down there. Hopefully, they don't listen to the show before they decide whether to do an interview with us. And that's it.
And that's that.
crazy good times.
And
We'll be
sign
back
Matt's
Sunday.
petition. And
We'll be back Sunday. We got a bunch of shit. We're gonna make fun of a retarded girl who's trying to be a model.
It's disgusting.
We're gonna do. There's some new UFO sightings that are gonna be good. There's some police stories. We've got a possible guest
for Sunday.
Might be happening. We're not sure.
We'll tease
but
that a
then
little
after
bit.
that, since we're just fucking babbling about what's coming up, after that we've got a bunch of cool guests coming up. We've got a true crime expert,
a demonologist.
coming on. We've got a bunch of the characters from the Silcon Festival.
Our old friend Stu is coming back to the show.
Stuart will be here next week.
Thursday.
Next Thursday.
He'll be sitting in with us.
Who's a local comedian, improv artist and stuff.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of shit coming up.
He was fun last time.
As far as our community reach out for the week, we're going to do some gyroscope here, and we'll leave that on the YouTube video for people. This is my old pals.
Big fans.
Probably the nicest people in the fucking Chicago hip-hop community, honestly. Tomorrow Kings is the larger collective. But this is Gyroscope. Just two of the guys from Tomorrow Kings doing their thing. We'll be back on Sunday. Good evening.
Your cat's attacking me.
I do. Once again, Gyroscope. Look them up.
What's a difference
Yo. 3 o'clock in the morning, I breathe a lot, and I'm yawning, reaching the top of the dawn and just see the spot that I crawl in. Single file and we fall in. Day of the living dead, 5 a.m. in my prison bed. I'd rather do this instead. Retail blues, seashell mood, depending on the female's cool. I'm CEO smooth, ball and chain connected. We all the same, disrespected. Going out in customer traffic, passing the intersection with some gun and some tape. Feels like we're forced to take clothes hostage with hundreds at stake. Millions in attendance, 6 floors are installed. But the big war between pimps and the thrift store. The 5th small, women's and kids. The 4th, women's again. 2nd and 3rd, hers with men's in the span. The 1st is full of purses with makeup and smell beautifully. Next to the jewelry and nothing else new to me. Yo, with the wind when the day breaks, working the numbers till I'm matched up with the game. Fake change place, often never caught in the same state. Missing the point can show you what difference a day makes.
One day,
missing the point can show you what difference a day makes. Amidst the growth and development, many days were challenging. Balancing quick and smile, speaking loud and proud. Understanding you had a voice, no matter the crowd. So every day I made a choice to polish my styles. The writers on the wall was like the call of the wild. Cause I'm an animal behind bars, hungry with growl. Eating more than I can handle, I just changed the channel so my surfboard could get a chance to glide on new waters. Never married as an author, stories could go farther. Grind harder than the next man, it's more than a race. Time is running out, but what difference it makes if we all gon' die? Well, distinguish a place. Making beats in the basement, kill my skills to perfection. Both sides of the boards emerging in 2 directions, perpendicular to hosting open mics and getting live. If I don't stay focused, then I might as well die. Yo, with the wind when the day breaks, working the numbers till I'm matched up with the game. Fake change place, often never caught in the same state. Missing the point can show you what difference a day makes.
One day.
Missing the point can show you what difference a day makes.
Well, I'm telling you like this. One day, soon, I'm trying to live in a fat crib, bills paid for, get a ride, throw some rims on there, system, throw some platinum on the body, you know what I'm saying? Shiny.
Ready to get some jewelry already?
Yeah, man.
The first thing we do, son, get jewelry, get some hill nigga, and we get a ride. Throw some rims up there. You gotta have some patience, man. I'm the brain of this outfit. I am the brain. Man, hey, I can't just snap my fingers and presto change you an overnight sensation, son. Don't work like that. Fuck you think I am, Houdini out here?
I'm just tired of waiting, man. 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 I'm just tired of waiting, man.